So we are live now. Um, we're just waiting for our audience to join. So please be patient. We are starting very soon. Um, we're just waiting for um, some of our audience to join. So please be patient. We will start very, very soon.
Got all the time in the world.
We are live, Terry. Thank you very much for supporting us. So hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Shah Siddiqui. Today, I have Terry Arnold from the Terry Arnold Consultancy with me. Today, we're going to be discussing lead generation mastery on digital marketing, the strategies for success. So Terry itself is a successful entrepreneur. He was working many years for big brands like Unilever, and other brands. So he will give an introduction by himself. But before we pass into Terry, I do apologize for last events, because that time Terry had an incident, so he couldn't join. So I bring him today to talk to you, to let you know how Terry can help you to work with the big corporation that he know, and build your strategies. So I will pass on to Terry. Thank you, Terry, for coming to this webinar. And I wanted to introduce, I already introduced you. So if you could introduce yourself, that would be fabulous.
Okay, well, thank you very much, and welcome. I'd like to thank you for inviting me here today. And a brief history of my career. It started in Brussels with Unilever, as mentioned, and where I learned primarily about pan-European advertising and marketing in sectors as diverse as foods, detergents, and beauty. Then I became creative director of BBDO International, where account wins included Apple computers. Then followed 10 years where I launched my own creative consultancy, creating international campaigns and marketing campaigns for brands like IBM, Shell, and Ford. Finally, I worked alongside the CEO as assistant vice president of iResearch, a global marketing research company employing over 400 people. My responsibility was to write award-winning reports and win new business, focused primarily on the fintech sector, which is where all the action was at that period of time. Over the years, the depth and breadth of my experience has led me to meet many, I would say, highly professional and talented people. The purpose of this webinar, I think, for me, is I'd like to share some of this experience and expertise with you today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Terry. It would be our great pleasure to let people know, our network, the value of your work, as well as how they can be benefited throughout. So we have a structure for our webinar. So the initial initially, I will talk about LinkedIn optimization, how it is important for lead generation and digital marketing. And then we will talk about the strategies for network building, content strategy, how to attract national and global corporation. And Terry is here to support us with several case studies that he has been through. And to all our viewers attending these events, I just wanted to give you exclusive uh, 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 giveaway today. So if you wanted to talk to Terry, and if you wanted to ask to assess your business and the strategies, we're going to be giving you a free strategy session. So feel free to contact us and DM us through LinkedIn, and we will go through with it. We will check how you can improve and utilize the expertise like Terry for you to grow. So in that way, I just wanted to talk a little bit regarding LinkedIn optimization or social media optimization, specifically LinkedIn, because when we start digital marketing, we think that, okay, we will do something and then grow our business. But this is, as I said on my previous live, that digital marketing is not one strategy that would make you successful. There is collective of strategies together you have to work on, and you might not have that resources. So we are here to support, like Terry and ourselves. We support companies to for digital strategies and as well as execute those strategies for you. So optimization for LinkedIn is very crucial because you don't know what you wanted. We need to enable and what type of profile are you looking for, because when you are advertising and you want people to look into your account, sometimes some people forget about that they cannot sell many things at the same time. So they have to be very specific when they sell product and services. But we sometimes fail to understand that, and our profile will look like we are doing a lot of different tasks, and the people, they will check on your profile, they will carry it away with various different things. So before you start your digital marketing, the best option for you to optimize your LinkedIn, be specific what you wanted to sell, and then start your tactics for digital marketing or social selling. So here, Terry, I again thank you for your time, and I wanted to let people know, if you want a free strategy session with me and Terry, feel free to contact us and DM us through LinkedIn. You will get full review of your current strategies, and then we will work through how you can progress and get more leads and sales for your company. So now I will ask some specific questions to Terry, and hopefully if you have questions, please feel free to add your questions in the comment box. So if you wanted to ask something to me and Terry, feel free to ask them. So Terry, as you have experience, many, you have worked for many big brands. So could you please give us a specific example how you would manage, like if you say maybe something related to Apple or something related to Big Lottery or Unilever, any of them will help our clients, how you have managed their day-to-day activities as well as help them to grow.
Yeah. Okay. I'll just start with a generic story, which I always like. I'm very proud of, shall we say, and that is, as you mentioned, Shah, and my experience with Apple at BBDO, and you know. I remember specifically there was the chairman of BBDO International came to me. His name was Bill Wilson. He came into my office and said he had an opportunity to pitch against Chiat Day, the incumbent agency at that time, for Apple Europe, which, you know, for BBDO was already quite a large opportunity, put it that way. And the reason why was that Apple wanted to have a larger influence, a larger footprint in Europe, and Chiat Day didn't really have that, shall we say, capability. And he left me a video cassette. Bill Wilson left me a video cassette in my office and said, "Oh, take a look at this when you have time." And he actually mentioned the fact that it was created by Steve Jobs. I don't know if he created it personally, but that's what he said. But anyway, so I put the video on. You know, it was, in those days, it was a VHS video, as you can imagine. And I was just blown away by what I saw. And I went back into Bill Wilson's office. I said, "Look, Bill, you know, give us a break. You know, there's no way I can match that video." And number one, you know, well, it was in a league of its own. Well, when I tell you that the video was by the 1984, the video for 1984, and it just been released at that time. So you can see, you know, that you may as well just pack up and go home when you start to have that kind of competition. But anyway, we took it in our stride, and you know, the rest is history. We got the account for Europe, and eventually the rest of the account worldwide, which, you know, was a very exciting piece of business to be working on.
That is really fascinating, Terry. I would say I'm very fortunate to work with you, to learn from you, as well as implement your tactics throughout our work, as well as with our clients. So a person work with Steve Jobs is and his team is like we cannot think about that to do it ourselves. But as we're preparing, we might work with big corporations and corporate people, and that will give us a real you know, boost to work with any big corporation. So thank you very much for adding your value. So in strategies for building network, what would you do, and what would you say to our audience, that how they could build strategies and cater strategies and then execute them?
Well, I can't put enough emphasis. We were mentioning this a few minutes ago offline. You know, the importance, if you like, of research. Again, a little thing I would like to add, even at when I was at Unilever, I would go in the evenings to see in the behind the two-way screen in the focus group, and I would watch and listen to how my campaign by the group was being interpreted, because of the advantage of the two-way mirror. You know, you had that anonymous involvement, and you could hear how you know, the campaign was progressing, and the honest opinions of people. And for example, I remember when we were working on Gillette. And that wasn't at Unilever, but at BBDO again. It was Gillette, and it was Blue 2, the disposable razor. And as you can imagine, the level of and it was a young all-male audience, maybe 15, 20 people. They were more interested in sipping beer and, having a chat and blah, 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 and all the rest of it. They weren't really interested in hearing anything about the product, which again was a lesson in itself. When you start to get those sort of face-to-face experiences, because, I don't want to use it, for example, I had, 5-6 teams working on Gillette, all coming up with really, fantastic campaigns. Now, I'm not saying that the advertising needed to be dumbed down, but it was a question of having to connect, if you want to, and I think that's shall we say, a very popular word at the moment, connect with your audience. Now, there's various ways of connecting, as we all know, but, research is such a fundamental point of connection, and the ability to be able to listen and learn from the research gives you a completely different angle on the end result of the the creative solution. And so what's happened, I've gone like full circle. I wouldn't say research has taken a lesser amount of importance, or research is or creativity is less important. Neither of them are less important. But what I discovered is, as I've progressed through my career, I've always hung on to the value of research in all its guises. But what has happened more recently is, with my involvement with global organizations, and in particular global research organizations, you can start to understand better where creativity fits into the mix, and how important it is, and how creative you need to be. Because I would say that quite a lot of people tend to think, you can be sort of like completely off the wall, and if you push it to its limits and it bites, you've scored. But that's not the way, shall we say, a school like Unilever would suggest you go about it. Not at all. And I would agree, that more and more the importance is to take the balance between creativity and, shall we say, research-based information.
That is really fascinating, Terry. When, as an academic, and as well as working in technology, digital marketing cells as well, we have to understand the benefits of research and data that can aid you good decision making, and as well as that can give you fabulous results, like our data-driven understanding of digital technology, and as well as for any strategy that we develop, that has to be embedded data-driven, like how much you are gaining, and how many customers you are having per month, and how much money it is generating every month, what's the ROI, and so on. So everything related to current time marketing, and as well as digital marketing, is all about data, and how you implement those data for your future decision making will change your lives differently. So my next question to you would be, if you wanted to have a relationship between you and the young people, and lead them to get expertise to work with big corporation, what they should look into first?
Lovely question. Obviously, I would say, well, not obviously, but I would say, first of all, they've got to be genuinely motivated towards their objectives, and maybe look at where their strengths lie and where they can add the most value personally. So, for example, even in the choice of, for example, of agency, there's a certain types of account that you can add real passion and value to, and you will be driven by the whether it's the content or the technology or whatever the specific area that you end up wanting to get more experienced in, then that will come almost naturally. I think I would say definitely, analyze yourself before you start to analyze anybody else.
That's a great answer, I would say. When we work with businesses, startup as well as established businesses, we can see and feel the difference between working with a startup where their experience and expertise are just growing, as well as when we work with businesses, they are established and their expertise and experience are different, but where we can contribute more. We have to lay out a specific strategy for anyone, and as well as businesses, they have to listen to us, what we wanted to convey to generate more sales and grow their business more. So in that aspect, I will have some more questions to you. Before that, I just wanted to add some other values to our audience. If you wanted us to have a free strategic overview and review of your current strategy, please feel free to contact me or Terry, DM us through LinkedIn, and we will understand and we will review your current strategies and help you to build a more forward-thinking as well as engaging and strategy that will help you to grow further. In terms of creating content, currently, you probably know that it's all about content and leveling those content to your branding. So how important is content strategy as well as branding at the moment for the new startup businesses or established businesses, if in your opinion?
Well, again, I take a personal example. Mm-hmm. I think I was, unbeknown to me, I didn't realize it at that day. In those days, obviously, strategy now is a very trendy word. It gets used, I would say, quite loosely, when in fact, it adds a lot of value. A real strategy. When you worked with especially American companies and who are very strategic minded, you get to understand the real value of strategy, and should we say financial terms. But in terms of content specifically, in the early days, I remember when I was at Unilever, I was really surprised after the first year. I personally produced 30 campaigns, global, well, primarily pan-European campaigns, but some of them were global. And I was so busy, I didn't even have time to count them. But at the end of the year or whenever it was, I did eventually count them. And I was, sort of pleasantly surprised by the volume. But the stress, and I'm not putting this on Unilever, because if anybody was a less stressful environment, that was Unilever. It was very relaxed, but the sheer volume meant that I had to find another way of working. And I was historically an art director in my early years. But I found that because most of the work was TV, obviously, I could write scripts, scripts faster than I could draw. Literally, I could churn out a script in maybe, I don't know, 30 minutes. Perfectly honed, typed and everything. They would literally come out of the computer, in perfect order. And this speed of working focused me more and more on the value of content, because I think, a picture tells a story, 1,000 words, maybe. But anyway, but the scripts have a totally different angle on value. So, and I've never deviated from that particular path. I tend to write everything first rather than draw it if drawing is involved. I would then sketch things out. But if you're going to, if you're fortunate enough to be able to master both disciplines, which in an advertising agency environment, you have that opportunity. You employ, obviously, copywriters and art directors and everything that goes with it. And you can straddle, if you like, those two skills, maybe putting an emphasis more on one than the other, as needs be. But content, it's well, we all know the cliche: content is king, and in the digital environment, never has that been more true than today.
That's really valuable thoughts from you, Terry. As an art director and working for big brands, we can really add values to our clients, the knowledge you have, and as well as the strategies we're going to build together for those businesses. They wanted to attract more business, and they wanted to work with big giant. And that's, I think, is a dream way that we can do it together. So I wanted to let our audience know that if you wanted to get a free strategic session to understand your strategy and lead and understand your digital marketing, please feel free to DM me or Terry from LinkedIn. We can go through with it, and as well as we can add value, a free strategic session for you to take specific decision to lead your business to success. So here we have Terry Arnold from Terry Arnold Consultancy. As the viewer, you are experiencing as well as listening to his experience. And I think we can add value today, and as well as in our future program. So I'm Dr. Shah Siddiqui, and we will bring many of our businesses, and we will share their experience and expertise and how you can grow your business and aid your decision making, as well as growing your business. So here we have Terry Arnold from Terry Arnold Consultancy. So our next question would be, you know that you work as an art director, and you have helped many to develop their content. How it is important to develop your content to specifically attract new leads?
Specifically, I think it's a numbers game. I think it's equally balanced between, when it comes to lead generation, it becomes a balance between numbers and opportunity, random opportunity, I would say, almost by luck. Again, in BBDO, I instigated a research program where in the early years, I tended to think I always had the answers. when in fact, when it came to research, what research taught me was I didn't have the answers. And often the answers that I had were irrelevant, if not wrong, from my point of view. But the path down which I went and my interest in research just grew as I became better and better informed. So, in answer to your question, in terms of content, and in particular style and etc., then I would say that number one is research is the kingpin. Be guided by the research, then be guided by the stats, wherever they're heading towards, or the data, if you want to put it that way, because that then reinforces your point of view, or it confirms. The stats will actually tell you the truth. The research, it will always lead you to an opinion. It will give you valuable insights, shall we say. Then finally, and I would say, then you can exercise your creative judgment. What is the most favourable, and because you still need, where creativity comes in, is it will deliver the impact that you require in, shall we say, inverted commas, a creative way. And that is when the icing, you can put the icing on the cake, when all the fruit is well baked and well prepared, and so on and so forth.
Thank you, Terry. I think it's most valuable for our audience to understand that if you wanted to do and develop a content, it's better to understand your audience first. As Terry mentioned, research would be the backbone for any work you do. And we believe that without specific research to your audience and what type of content you tailor to them, it's very important before you start developing your content. At Zenzi Marketing, we understand the audience. We specifically tailor our go-to-market strategy for our businesses to understand them, and then specifically develop their targeted campaign. You might have 2-3 individual target audience. That is okay to have many target audience, but when you tailor your content, you need to target a specific one genre at a time. As I said, if you are not specific when you're developing your content for your audience, you cannot measure it. And if you do not measure it, you don't know the success and the failure you will receive after running a specific content. We just have a message from one of our guests. He just written, great discussion, guys, Terry, with the new generation of people coming into work and business and the content progression of technology. Are we limiting progression by not ranking employment and the traditional way business done? So this is his questions. Terry, shall I repeat it, or you understood?
Yeah, please do. Yeah, please do.
Okay, so he wanted to ask, new generation of people coming into work and business, and the context progression of technology. Are we limiting progression by not rethinking employment and the traditional ways business is done?
Yeah. Well, yes, without a doubt. I mean, me personally, again, I'm sorry to sort of keep citing my own examples, but my life has changed dramatically since the pandemic. I won't go into all the details, but I did have consultancy in the background. I've always done consultancy at fairly high levels, shall we say. but when the pandemic came along, the upheaval, as you can imagine, iResearch, they had 300, 400 people on board, and a third of all those had to go within a year, 2 years. So we were sort of right down to what we would consider to be a very tight level of staffing. And eventually, with the grounding of the airlines and so on and so forth, the whole business was in jeopardy. So we had to rethink. And I'll just touch on this very briefly because we are on the subject of strategy. What I did, I pivoted the agency or the company, the consultancy, and I said the broad base, there were, as I said, 300-400 people employed. The broad base was all provided by multi-skilled and highly professional people, and in many different sectors. By pivoting it, what I did, we also had a digital search agency, which I also brought a significant amount of business in for. So we turned it on its head. So we had this middle strata then, which was the digital sector. And then finally, we had the sharp end of the business, which was consultancy, which I thought was number one, very contemporary and very ahead, well, yeah, very of the moment, because not many people were sort of like talking about consultancy. Everybody was trying to think big and think grand, but nobody was thinking finite and definitive. But what it gave me a competitive edge in the marketplace, which fanned out naturally across the other two tranches of business. So from that point of view, yeah, it was, it was very valuable and it contributed a lot. In answer to your question about the way the industry is going, I highlight that example. I think there's loads of examples where people are naturally finding their way, whether it's because they want to be independent, they want to start up their own business, or they've already got a foothold in a company with angel funding, or whether it's an offshoot of a larger organization. No matter what level, as we all know, businesses have become more and more specialized. That goes without saying, but there is an opportunity at all levels for people with all types of different skills, whether they're no matter what stage of their career that they're in, and especially for young people. I think young people have never had it so good. Again, a little story I remember when I worked with the Energy House Digital, which is a very good agency based in Shoreditch, like most of the good ones are. And I remember they were, everybody was relatively young. I don't think anybody there was over 30, put it that way. And I was by far the oldest person there. And I remember going to the client services director and saying to him, I said, I don't understand, what can I contribute in all this digital environment, And he said, experience, which came like a sledgehammer to me, because he saw it in such a totally different way. There I was with all this big brand experience and all the rest of it, which I thought was all old school and nobody wanted. And he didn't see it like that at all. He was all, we were doing campaigns for various niche companies. They were all into the finite areas of digital marketing. And
Terry, it's really important when you work with new generations. Like Tom, I know him personally, We are a group of neurodivergent consortium. I also run another a CIC that is based in the south of England, and we support people with neurodiversity, ADHD, dyslexic, and others. So in that way, as he mentioned this on his questions, that how versatile the workforce should be, because when you think about workforce, most of the time people think about adding value to the workforce by employing various type of population there, like black and black, Asian, white, and disabled and non-disabled, and so on. So in that way, how valuable it is to add value to thinking about versatile community that you have, and how valuable it is to add neurodivergent people to the workforce.
Well, I've always been intrigued and fascinated by cultural diversity. I've always sort of put the clock forward in terms of maybe in 100 years, we're all going to be, muddy brown or whatever, whatever it happens to be, the color won't come into it. But culture, the roots of our culture will always be biased. And again, I come back to the early years of my involvement in advertising and marketing, and that is that the lesson that it taught me is, in all the instances, and for several years I worked in Belgium, France, and I'm talking about high sort of positions. So I've been exposed to lots of different cultures. And the cultural difference that people have, obviously they add value and color to, not literally, but they diversity to their viewpoint. But if you're in the international arena, you can't stick an emphasis on one particular preference just because you have that preference. You have to be certainly impartial, age-wise, culture-wise, and so on and so forth. You have to be a neutral mediator, if you like, if you're going to arrive at a decent, strategic, and creative solution.
One thing that Tom as well as wanted to ask you, that is, when we talk about culture, we know that most of the top businesses, corporations, they wanted to create a combined culture because they work not only in the UK, they work globally. So in that way, they have to be have a mixed culture. But in terms of adding value to the people, if we think that, as I say, the neurodivergent population, there are less people, disabled people, there are less people in workplace. So in that aspect, should we encourage the big corporation to employ more rather than some tick boxes to fulfill some requirements? Or it can be like open, like if I am disabled, I would get chance to work in a corporation company by my own talent, not like I'm disabled or I'm neurodivergent or I'm a normal person.
Look, I think you've answered it partly yourself. At the end of the day, talent is supreme, no matter what. Well, it doesn't matter, what preference or cultural background you have. That's already emerging globally, if you want to call it like that. I think everybody tends to think of America as being, shall we say, I just picked these examples. America is being has global influence. But when you say global influence, is it because of their language? Is it because of their technology skills? We don't know. I would put a question mark behind that. And then, in particular, if we talk about India, and I research is an Indian-based company, and I had a pleasant surprise how advanced their technology skills were, and I mean that in a genuine sense. They just blow everybody out the water. Even Brits, who are often considered to be digital gurus in their own right. And if you were to go to France, I wouldn't dare try and create, should we say, for a French fashion brand, anything other than using people from France, because they are the purveyors of fashion, even to the point where we used to joke in the agency world that it was all content and no I can't remember the term now. Anyway,
that's okay. So I wanted to ask you another question. It's related to strategies and content strategies. So, if as we always say, old is gold. So you have tons of experiences working with individuals. So my next question would be like, if I'm not a newcomer, I'm also 40 plus, but if we're thinking about the young generation here, like 20s or 30s, they wanted to engage in the work. Do we allow them to be independent, understanding their strengths and weaknesses, and give them freedom and resources to do something extraordinary? Or you have anything else to say?
Well, this is answering this question. I'm probably going to be putting my foot in it for the young audience, because I think I would combine, the ideal environment is to find a company or a mentor or something along those lines, where you've got, shall we say, the guidance of somebody who is highly experienced, and then flex your muscles within that environment to exercise the areas of activity that you particularly want to promote or get involved with. Don't try and do it all on your own. And this is not me being protective in any shape or form. You can't substitute old school experience with we were talking about IT and the new AI, for example. They will shape themselves in their own way and make an impact on the market, as they are already doing, as we can see, in their own shape and form. But in terms of your personal development, I would say look for a business or look for a company that you admire and you respect and you can add value to, and learn from them, because you will go far. You will go further faster. Number one, in that type of environment, and then you can also experiment in a comfortable environment where you're not in threat of losing any of your values and any of your ideas.
That's quite great, Terry. That's quite great, Terry. I think the essence of your comment is to you can aid yourself. You can get your freedom. You will have your resources, but whatever you do, get some expert to lead you to get your way, that okay, you have understanding of the past and you will build the future. So thank you very much for adding your value. So to our audience, I wanted to today we are just giving away a free giveaway, that if you wanted us to review your business and review your digital marketing strategy, please feel free to contact us and contact me and Terry through our social media. We will give you a free strategic session how you can do better and understand your future of digital marketing. So we are nearly ending our session. So at the last end, we're going to be talking for building a global brand and working with global brands. So you know that currently through social media and AI, anyone working in England, they are working in everywhere globally. Anyone working in Asia, they are working globally. So in that aspect, how important it is to influence your network through your digital marketing strategy. Can it be positive, or can it lead you to the success you're looking for?
I think this is quite an easy question to. At the end of the it's in the title of the subject matter. You know, it's social. You know, people. I remember a critical direction I was put on was that when I decided not to work with anyone that I didn't want to work with. I think I've mentioned this before, but so I could afford to be choosy by just focusing on the people I naturally felt an empathy working with. That really helped me. What I didn't realize was this was what social media was all about in any case, and that social marketing. You know, that's what social marketing is all about. It's about the emphasis is on the social aspect of it. So, in terms of you know, focusing on your communication skills, which probably come naturally because we're in that type of business, marketing and media and so on and so forth, they probably come quite natural. What probably doesn't come so natural is to focus also equally on some of the other necessary skills. We've mentioned research and so on and so forth that need to be used as either as ammunition or as support in your forward thinking.
Yeah, thank you very much, Terry. That is great, and we wanted to add more value to our audience. So we are talking today how you can add value and be a digital marketing guru, working with us and working with Terry Arnold Consultancy and working with Zenzi Marketing. So if you wanted to have a free strategic session, please feel free to contact me and Terry, and we will go through with your digital marketing strategy and as well as how you can fulfill your specification as well as target a new client. So it is a global and become a global brand. So if you are a local organization in the UK and you wanted to reach to be a global brand and as well as wanted to work to the global brand, please feel free to contact Terry and me, and we can lay out a strategic plan for you to achieve that success. So my next question would be, as a local company or in the UK, how would you tailor them to work with global brands like you have worked previously?
I think there's no barriers today, as you mentioned. Everybody, one way or another, they are global minded. I remember being told once that on a journey, most people go through 3 stages. For example, if they're going to the airport, they are, we'll just take the example in the UK. So they go to Heathrow, and they're, they go to their local shops, if you like, and maybe they're buying something there last minute, suntan lotion or whatever it happens to be. And then they go into Heathrow, and their frame of mind, at that particular stage, they're local, their frame of mind suddenly goes global, because they're getting, they confront all these global brands. And then finally, they end up at their destination, let's just say in, I don't know, Valencia or somewhere. And they're localized. But those 3 states of mind, they don't think about them. They're spontaneous. They adjust to them in those 3 different ways. And they're buying products. If we're talking about buying things, they're buying products according to their needs in all those 3 environments: local, global, and international. Local, global, whatever. So, but what it taught me was that you can be 3 people at any one time. And I remember working on a product for Unilever, and I was taught this by we were trying to develop a product. I think it was it was an ice cream product. But anyway, no, it wasn't. It was a cosmetic product. But anyway, and we were in New York doing this work, and the client services director from Unilever the brand director came in and was really frustrated and was saying, what's going on? What are you doing? To the team, and you're missing the point. And they said, oh, well, no, we're not. We're focusing on the target group. He said, there's 3 target groups here. I think it was, makeup or lipstick, or no, it was lipstick. So I can't remember. Anyway, the brands. But and he said, no, there's 3 target groups here. And you've got the opportunity to appeal to all 3. You've got the woman, who she at one stage she wants to be young and sexy, and then she's got children, and she has to be, soft and gentle. And then she's got her husband, and, she's got to appeal to him as well. So, you've got the opportunity to appeal to all 3 of these target groups, and you're only focusing on one. What a missed opportunity.
There's great experience and expertise and great examples, I would say, that we never think about that way, that okay, how you can target your specifically 3 generations at the same time. So it was great, Terry, today having you with us, and we are delighted to work with you and help our clients for them to get feature ready with your knowledge. And we have many other people in our network to support our businesses with their business strategy, with their digital marketing strategy, social selling strategy. So as I said previously, that strategy should be your backbone for grow your business and as well as understand your business well. If you don't understand your business well, you cannot grow it, and you cannot. It's like human. It's like disease. If you wanted to treat a disease, you need to understand the disease and create the medication for it to be treated. So in that way, we had Terry Arnold today and sharing his valuable experience and expertise with us, and we will invite Terry many other live webinar to come. So in that way, I will thank you, all of my online audience, as well as all of my network people, that okay, please support us and support our webinar by attending, as well as asking us questions and sharing our details with your network. So thank you very much, Terry. We're going to be ending this program very soon, in a couple of minutes time. So thank you very much for supporting our event today. And at the end, I just wanted to ask you if you wanted to have an ending remarks for our program today.
Well, the most important thing is you're embarking on, I don't know what careers you're in and where you could end up, but I would say I wish you all the luck. If you, as you say, always come to either of us with any questions you may have, bon voyage.
That's fine, Terry. So thank you everyone for attending to today's events, and thank you, Tom, for asking two valuable questions. And I hope you have got the answer. But if not, feel free to talk to Terry, and then hopefully we can answer. He can answer your questions, and we can aid you briefly in a conversation. So thank you everyone for today, for supporting us, and I will say you bye. And have a nice evening as well as the weekend. So I will see you next week, Friday, with another of our guest speaker, and go from there. So thank you and bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.